Do not interfere. This only concerns Inhumans.
Inhumans?
I know them. Super people with attitude. They don't play well with others.
There's a new Marvel rumor out there that the glorious Inhuman royal family from the Marvel Comics will be coming to the MCU, and it will not be that hideous bullshit that we got on ABC.
It's like the news, but for nerds.
Today's shout out goes to Mini Sarge. Indeed, 000 is the evil protocol droid from the Star Wars comic books. Make sure you stay to the end of this video where we will ask another nerd card question. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday to you. I am Josh. Welcome back to the den. It is legitimately good to see you. Now, I want to go over this new rumor. I want to speculate a little bit about what it could mean. And at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you a really funny story about this Inhuman show that was on ABC. And it has to do with this channel specifically. I think you're going to want to stay for that. Okay, so this is coming from MCU Cosmic, and it is definitely just a rumor at this point. Jeremy was very clear about this. Treat this as a rumor for now. Now, you should go check out this report, but if you've got that millennial case of can't read any freaking thing, don't worry, I'll summarize the main points right now. Jeremy is saying that a team of Inhumans, led specifically by Black Bolt, is still on the slate and being planned for the future of the MCU. He states that this will undoubtedly retcon the show, which I don't think a lot of people will be upset about, but we'll get into that in a second. And the big catalyst for this happening has to do with Ms. Marvel and the Celestials being introduced in both the Eternals movie and, of course, the Ms. Marvel show for Disney+. Jeremy also shares a 2016 quote from Kevin Feige where he's basically talking about how the Inhumans will still happen. He thinks it will happen on TV first, but then it should still happen in a movie because he thinks it would be great and epic. And, you know, that is just kind of the sentiment of Kevin Feige from 2016 when talking about the Inhumans. So the first important thing, or the thing that jumps out to me from this report, is that it would indeed retcon the show, the ABC horrible show of the Inhumans that did come out, produced by Scott Buck. And Scott Buck, by the way, showrunner for the Iron Fist show on Netflix and Inhumans. Never forget. Never forget that. Now, this retconning, if this were to happen, would be one of the first times that this officially happened in the MCU, where they just ignored something that was previously considered canon. However, we're all pretty sure that's what's going to happen with the Netflix shows. Like, unfortunately, even though we like a lot of the things that happen in the Netflix shows, Kevin Feige does not like to play if he's not in control of where all the toys go. I mean, look, we love Kevin Feige. We respect what he's been able to do. Part of the magic there has to do with his stringentness, with his just lack of ability to just let it be out there. So it's good and bad, but ultimately this is kind of the way it is for the MCU. So even though we're getting more liberal, we're getting sort of away from that core context where Feige would have control, I still believe there's things in every single MCU movie that he specifically puts in there and that he will specifically tie together. And so this retconning of the show, even though it might be a little bit wild, feels right. It feels like par for the course for what we're gonna expect coming soon from the MCU. I expect the Netflix stuff will be completely ignored, and I expect it all to be rebooted in the MCU eventually. And even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has really distanced itself from the MCU, and the MCU specifically has distanced itself from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So bottom line, this still points to a big separation between Marvel Television and Marvel Studios. But if, you know, the Disney Plus stuff is all Marvel Studios, and that really closely ties it together with the films, and then you would get a movie like this with the Inhumans on the silver screen, that would be produced by Marvel Studios, so it would be strictly MCU. But we've also heard that ABC and even Marvel Television will be developing stuff for Disney Plus, so it's yet to be determined whether or not the MCU is going to play nice with these pieces of content or not. But let's just, you know, keep our eye on how this all works out. The next thing from the article that jumped out to me was this idea that Ms. Marvel and the Celestials are sort of going to pave the way for the MCU version of the Inhumans. And I think this just makes sense. I mean, the Ms. Marvel character particularly would be very difficult to do, at least her power set and some of the things she's able to do, without explaining that she's an Inhuman. Now, they could, of course, explain that she's a mutant, and the mutants are coming to the MCU, but maybe the timeline there just isn't going to work for what they want to do, or it could just be a thing where, hey, hey, I like the Inhumans as well, let's put the Inhumans in there. And you might say like, wow, is this getting kind of crowded? Like if we're introducing all these different things, is it gonna be crowded? Well, frankly, I don't think Marvel Comics is crowded, even though there's way more groups in Marvel Comics. It's all about how you use these groups of characters in different stories, and different stories can focus on these characters, and then other stories can completely ignore their existence, and it's just okay. Now, as far as my personal speculation on how they should use the Inhumans, or what I hope to see from the Inhumans, I mean, I'm a huge Black Bolt fan. I love the Inhumans, which was why I was so upset with this show, which again, I have a very funny story about, you know, in a minute here. But yeah, I think they could be a big player in a movie. I don't think they should necessarily get their own movie, because even that sort of almost draws attention to them, brings up these horrible memories of that TV show and stuff like that. So they could do an Inhumans movie, but I'd prefer them to do like War of the Kings and do an event like that, especially if they get the Shi'ar from the Fox deal. That would be way cooler. So I think they could utilize the Inhumans in a big event film and have the fact that the Inhumans were this kind of kingdom, you know, of Earth, and it was, you know, whatever they want to do with it in the MCU versus what they've done on the television shows. I think that would be a cool way for them to use the Inhumans. And if we really are expanding the MCU in the cosmic sense, which we totally are, I mean, we've got Captain Marvel 2, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and the Eternals. Like, we're going to space. But yeah, if we're doing all of that, totally makes sense that the Inhumans would play a big role there. I mean, they're literally like the human-esque, like, galactic kingdom out there. I mean, the War of the Kings is this idea that the Inhuman kingdom is really important. It's a substantial thing. A war with the Inhumans would be bad for any race. Just ask the Kree. That's not a good idea. So overall, even though it's just a rumor, I thought it was totally worth talking about, you know, talking about some of the things that Jeremy brings up in the article, but also sort of speculating, like giving our own spice on this thing. So I'm super freaking hopeful that we get this in the MCU, but I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about it? Did you watch that ABC show? Let me know your thoughts about this rumor and about the relationship between television and movies when it comes to the MCU. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, story time, guys, story time. Bring it in, get a little closer to that smartphone screen. So back in the day when the Inhumans show was coming out, I was actually so excited for this, okay? I'm a huge Inhumans fan. I love Black Bolt. I had just got done reading you know, the Infinity event, I believe, from Jonathan Hickman, very close to that time period. And Black Bolt and Thanos have this epic fight. It's amazing. So I'm really hyped on the Inhumans, right? And I'm following the show. Like, I'm following along with the pre-production, all the news about it. I'm getting very excited. When they announced that IMAX was literally going to be spending some money on this show, I was like, whoa, and they're shooting portions of the show on IMAX cameras, my mind starts to explode. And at the time, I was literally thinking a lot of what they're doing right now with the Disney Plus shows with Marvel Studios, I was like, this is what it's gonna be. We're getting film-like production for a television show, like Game of Thrones-esque with the Inhumans. I was very excited. So I'm making all these videos, hyping it up, right? And then when we start to see the trailers and you start to like know what they're doing, dude, I got so upset that I literally made a video saying, boycott this show. Now, back then, it was really interesting because we weren't like a big channel by any means, but we definitely had people watching, and there were a lot of people saying like, hey, you shouldn't say boycott this show. How dare you say boycott this show and all these different things. And we actually got heat because way before the show came out, after we saw some of the things they were doing with it, I was like, no, dude, boycott this show. You need to hit them where it hurts with the wallet because we can't allow this stuff to just ever happen again. This is so disrespectful. But I was so like afraid because people were really upset that I said boycott, and like we were in different Facebook groups and people were like, these guys are saying boycott, I can't believe it. You know what I mean? And then obviously the show comes out and it's the worst thing ever. I mean, that's what I hear. I actually haven't watched a single frame of that show because I was literally boycotting it. But yeah, just kind of funny how things work out, man. Like, you know, it was just crazy that this news popped up. I was reminded of back in the day when we caught that flag for saying boycott the Inhumans. So take from that story what you will, but I just wanted to share it because it was just funny to me, like remembering back to those moments and different things like that. So now, before we get out of here, I want to check the nerd card. I want to know, what is the name of the subhuman clones that Maximus the Mad creates in the Inhumans comic? Yeah, those weird red and yellow suited clone dudes. What were the name of those guys in Marvel Comics? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hey there YouTube, Justin here from the Den of Nerds Gaming. Just letting you know that this Sunday, September 1st, we're going to be streaming Star Wars Battlefront 2 on Twitch for Star Wars Sunday. Hope to see y'all there. Bye bye.